The mission is in our name, Reporters Committee for the Freedom of the Press.
It is our ambition to be the indispensable nonprofit legal services organization in the country, protecting journalists, the public's right to know, and the First Amendment.
The Reporters Committee really tries to be a one-stop shop for journalists when it comes to their legal needs.
The piece that people see the most, that's the most visible, and ultimately the most urgent and important is the work we do in courtrooms and in legal briefs.
When it's an issue that affects all of us and no one organization can take the burden on their own of representing the press, the Reporters Committee is able to step up and help us in those circumstances.
It can be really helpful to have our CFP weigh in as amicus and put together these big media coalitions to tell a court it's not just this one news organization that cares about this case, it's the news media across the country.
The Reporters Committee attorneys will represent journalists in federal and state public records litigation. We provide guides like the FOIA Wiki to help journalists understand their rights under the law. And we do trainings in newsrooms all around the country.
The Reporters Committee is a lifeline for people like myself, independent journalists who don't necessarily have access to lawyers or legal representation.
I didn't know anything about the Reporters Committee until I was sued for defamation for $5 million.
I think it really highlights exactly why the Reporters Committee is so important, because we were able to step in and offer Jose pro bono legal representation.
Working with the lawyers of this organization was amazing.
We have several lawyers who have had experience in newsrooms, either before coming to the Reporters Committee or before coming to law school.
You're talking about lawyers who really understand journalism and who understand the mission and what's at the heart of what you aspire to do.
Supporting journalists, working journalists throughout the country. I think that's the key thing that we do, I think, better than anyone.
There are so many reporters in need, and they don't always know what question to ask or how to ask it. They just sort of know that they have a problem.
The Reporters Committee has a 24/7 hotline. We take requests via both phone and email.
To be able to have a resource to go to that's free, to be able to figure out what the sort of basic issues are and understand them in plain language is a huge resource.
So we really do get questions from all across the country and across the world even when it comes to reporters' rights under United States law. That includes access to public records, it includes news gathering questions.
It's really important that journalists have access to public records, to our court systems, in order to inform the public about what our government is doing.
Now more than ever, people are seeing the power of journalism and how journalism can be used as a tool to ensure that the public is informed.
If you look at just the cases we've been involved in the last year or two, you can really see in a very real world, practical way how the work we do impacts the ability of reporters to do their jobs all over the country.
When we have a successful lawsuit that gets them records or gets them access to a court hearing or court documents, getting to see the fantastic reporting that comes out of that is the most exciting feeling in the world.
Nothing gives us as much pleasure as when we see our work pay off in the journalism and we see an article published or a story broadcast. For us, that is the big payoff.